How's it going, guys? Welcome to the first installment of the Josh and Ollie show, where it's just two kids from the country of Australia, just talking a bit of shit, hoping to keep you guys entertained through this quarantine period and even afterwards beyond that. And yeah, hoping just to have a little bit of fun with what we're doing with our lives.
Welcome. I'm happy to be here. I hope you enjoy the journey through our podcast. We're currently not together actually with this whole virus going on. I'm currently sitting in the garage on a stool under my race car. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy.
It's a bit chilly outside. It's been raining for the last couple of days here, and I'm in my room and I've literally got two jumpers on, tracksuit pants, and a blanket over the top of me. And I feel like I am struggling, but I feel like with this podcast I'll be able to muster through it, and I hope we can spread that message more to you guys as you guys listen.
Yeah, dude, I'm literally sitting in the garage like I've got my socks on, but my feet are literally numb. Like I'm freezing.
Well, considering we haven't had any rain for the last 18 months, sort of thing, I think it's good. I like rain, but I do miss summer. Although summer was a bit slow, I feel like with the bushfire season, the
We
lack of being able to go to the beach and all of that. So
Yeah, look, well, when we thought 2019 was bad, well, we didn't expect what 2020 was going to be like, did we? Like, it's not very good, eh?
well, I think it's one of these things though. Like when you really think about it, like our parents had to live sort of through, not necessarily through it, but around that time of the Cold War and everything like that. And our grandparents, World War Two, and our great grandparents, World War One, and here we are. And I feel like this is our global pandemic that is gonna shake up our lives for a bit, which is the COVID-19 coronavirus disease, which is floating around. And yeah.
Yeah, no, it's no good. But apparently, they had this happen like a long time ago, and it was a similar type of thing. Everyone had to get, like stay home and everything. So it's not as if like we're the only ones who've gone through it. Like our parents have probably, well, maybe the older generation's been through it before.
I think for the most part, you also got to look at the positives as well. I mean, at the end of the day, we all sit here, we all have our iPhones, we all have our computers and our Xbox and our racing simulators or whatever it is, and we get to sit inside a warm house with toilet paper for the most part, food, water, shelter, warmth, everything you need. And like here we are, we have some people complaining, which I think is a bit, it's like understandable, but I feel like it's one of those things that I feel like we just have to take on the chin for now and just keep on moving with it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like people definitely took it for granted, like how, well, not for granted, but just didn't realize how good normal life is really. Because now that we're all home and stuck, like it's so easy to get bored. Like we all thought it was going to be a holiday, but it's far from a holiday.
Yeah, listen, it's one of those things that you have to, well, as I said, take on the chin. But I think for the first part of the quarantine period, it was interesting. It was fun. Don't have to go to school. Don't have to do this. Don't have to do that. But then once the schoolwork catches up to you, you struggle a bit. But yeah, I guess there's always positives to look at with everything. And but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now that we're talking about it, actually, I might as well ask you, how are you liking the remote learning, like the home school?
I don't I don't personally like it. I feel like for me as a student, I'm much better off sitting in a room with a teacher and her being able to go through the work with me, set it through, punch it out, and yeah, I feel like I gain a better understanding of that. Um, I don't necessarily think I'm finding it hard. I find it more time consuming. Going into the whole thing, I thought, you know, you can kind of do your thing at your own pace and get stuff done however you like and whatever. But now the teachers, I just feel like are smashing us with work, and you got to join all the conference calls and everything like that. And yeah, it's one of those things that it's unprecedented. Like, but I feel like this whole online schooling thing will change the way we look at education forever.
Oh, 100%. Like I'm actually, for the first time ever, I'm actually excited to go back to school. not just like because the work side of things is going to be more chill, but like seeing the whole friends, being able to actually talk to people in person, if you need to ask something, like it's going to be so much easier.
And it's not even like seeing your friends, but like even teachers that you're on, not necessarily a friendship basis with, but someone that you can go and talk to and have a bit of banter with and laugh and all of those things. Like I feel like that is an awesome relationship to have throughout your school. Yeah, like we have your conference calls and whatever, but that's about as much connection as you have had. Or, I mean, me personally, I've had with my teachers recently for the last 6-8 weeks, which hasn't been bad. I'm sure they would like to get rid of me as much as possible, but that's another story.
Yeah, probably. That's actually one thing I feel sad for too, though, is the teachers. Like, must be really hard for them having to do all this from home as well, as much as it is for us. But yeah.
I think them just having to set the lessons and whatever else is just it's as I said, it's unprecedented. They haven't had to do it before. And if they for some reason they've had to do something regarding online schooling, I think you can tell the difference between the teachers who have and teachers who haven't. Um, you can definitely tell the younger teachers are a bit more on it than some of the not necessarily older teachers, but teachers that wouldn't necessarily they're more by the book and don't necessarily want to use technology and all of those things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, but it's it's living in weird times, aren't we? It's literally history right now, so it'll be interesting to see what happens, eh?
It's history, but for all the wrong reasons, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah.
there's not a lot you can do about it. But I guess something got to take on the chin, keep moving, keep working hard for what you want, and yeah, get stuff done.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, like, there's also some positives to take out of it as well. So, for example, I race cars. So, as you know, Ollie, I race cars. We're all into motorsport, and it's given us when I'm not doing schoolwork, it's given me time to get the stuff done on the race car to get ready for when we can go back racing. I've also got a simulator too, like a racing simulator, so that's been pretty handy. Like I can still keep my driving going. Maybe not fully realistic, as you know, but it keeps it to a degree. So no, it's not too bad.
So quickly on the topic of racing simulators, the Supercars E series, I feel like
Oh yes.
I feel like that's been a massive hit amongst all of the well, most of the fans. I feel like there's some people that absolutely love the idea, like especially the drivers. The drivers are really involved. The sponsors are really involved. But then there's some of the people that, are a bit older, like, 50, 60 sort of thing, and they're like, what is the point? How can I watch a video game on TV and try to find it interesting? But I feel like at the end of the day, at this current point in time, we have live sport, and that live sport is a video game. And esports has been on a meteoric rise recently, especially with games like Fortnite and Call of Duty and Rocket League and now iRacing for supercars people. It's it's spread on a screen across Australia, which everyone can watch. It's on Facebook, it's on free to air television, it's on pay per view, um, and it then has created this massive platform for new young people to get iRacing and to get involved with this esports scene of racing simulators. Like me personally, I've never had a racing simulator as much as I was involved in motorsport for the last 7-8 years of my life. But then recently, in the last month, it's I've gotten a racing simulator. I've gotten involved, and I enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it to start with, but that's another story. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I think it's cool what they're doing. I really, really do. And I think having that live sport still as a mentality, even if it is once a week, it's one of those things that everyone can get around.
Yeah, look, well, the thing is, when you think about it, there's not many sports out there that can transfer from the real world to, virtual like esports, like not that it's like perfectly realistic, but it's the closest you can get to the real thing. So I've got a simulator and I expected obviously the supercars to be it was going to be pretty cool, but the way the way people have treated it and how big it has got is shocked me. Like the amount of following it has got. But the people that I reckon, who comment like, oh, it's just a game or all that, I just think that's ridiculous. Like it's the only thing we can do right now, so enjoy it.
And I think having obviously you have Twitch, which is a streaming platform for video games, and people like Scott McLaughlin, Deep Squally, even people that are younger, like in Super 2, Brock Feeney's all over it. He's streaming, he's uploading his videos to YouTube, and he's getting a new following from it.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
like for the E Series race last Wednesday, we had Scott McLaughlin streaming on Twitch, and he had 12,000 viewers at any one time, which is massive.
Actually,
Like
sorry.
it's 12,000 viewers, which is massive. It's one of those things where you have to look at it and you have to understand that how successful this can be, and what sort of level this sits on once racing actually comes back. Do they continue this? See, now you'll have mid-race week entertainment still. Like you race on the weekend, you race Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Wednesday, that even if they pre-record the race, it's still broadcasted on television.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually heard them saying the other night, they were saying on the commentary that they're getting more viewers like watching this E-Series than they do in real life, which is really showing something, isn't it?
Well, I think also a massive part of that is the fact that it can be on Twitch. It can be on, you can watch it on Facebook, you can watch it on free-to-air television, whereas most of the supercar rounds are on pay-to-view TV, Foxtel, or KO, which I think is there's a massive market for it, but they have to be interested. Whereas a lot of the, some people, if they're in their 20s, uni sort of thing, they may not necessarily want to have to pay that $60, $70 a month or whatever it is, the ridiculous cost to watch, 2, maybe 3 supercar races. And obviously you get all the other sport, like you get your NRL and your football and your rugby union. But you have to be interested in that, and you have to understand what is going on to actually be able to enjoy it. Like I'm a massive soccer fan and a rugby union fan, but I can't sit down and watch a game of rugby league because I'm not interested. However, I can sit down and watch a game of rugby union and it's fantastic, or I can sit down and watch a game of ice hockey and I just enjoy it because most of the time they're just trying to beat the crap out of each other, which I find is fantastic and quality entertainment.
And it's there to watch, so why not watch it,
Exactly, and you're paying that fee up front monthly, and you have that there, and you have that platform to use. So why wouldn't you use it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no,
But
100%.
I think the E Series has done really well to incorporate still that aspect of live sport. Obviously the horses and that is still going on, which I think is a bit odd that they were allowed to run when you can't race in cars,
Yeah, what do you think
in
about that?
closed
Because, like,
cockpit.
really, I we're not allowed to race cars yet. Really, I'm in the car by myself. I know that's not the problem; it's the spectator
And
side
it's
of
not even
things. But really,
it's not even that you're in the car by yourself, but you have your protective gear, you have your helmet, you have your balaclava, you have your underwear, you have everything like that is going on. Even if you were to do it to a closed track, so you weren't allowed spectators, like you'd have your dad, and maybe one mechanic, maybe 2 if you're lucky. There's 4 people there
yeah,
in a garage that is, 12, 15 square meters.
and that's 100% what I think. Like, maybe it might be a bit harder for the top level, racing, even for any sport. When it gets to that top level, it might be a bit harder because there's more people involved. But for people like my age, when it's just the simple sports, not at a full professional level, I think it should be, if it's within reason, I think it should still go ahead. Which actually, now that we say that, I think there's a slight chance it could be because of the whole. There's been some restrictions lowered, so as long as we follow the rules still, yeah.
Well, speaking of the easing of restrictions, they're talking about bringing the NRL back on the 28th of May, or forgive me if I'm wrong, but a date around then. And just on the topic of NRL, you had in the news recently there was Latrell Mitchell and Josh Adokar that were found guilty of breaking the social distancing guidelines, and I think they ended up getting like an $1,000 fine from police, and it was like a smack bang $50,000 fine from the NRL, which was 60% was suspended till the end of the year. Um, I think in a situation like that where they're such prolific players and they have such a following, I think when they're going out and they're disobeying the obvious rules, um, and obviously they said, I can't remember who said it, but one of them was struggling with some mental health issues and he wanted to go there to clear his mind, which is totally understandable. But I mean, if I had have waited a weekend, come this weekend, the restrictions are being eased. You can have two adults and your children going to a friend's house to hang out. So having them with that following, disobeying, they're strict, but they're also basic guidelines. I think is probably not necessarily a good look, and it should almost be frowned upon in a sense. Like, not
Oh,
that they were really doing the wrong thing, but it's just when you have that following, it's not okay, I feel, to be disobeying such basic guidelines.
no, I think it should be frowned upon. Like, honestly, yeah, with that following, I'll be completely honest, it's mainly the NRL players. They're just, some of them are really stupid with things like that, you know? Like, it's common sense. You're not allowed to, so why would you do
Yeah,
it?
it's
And, like,
even,
not only why would you do it, but why would you post it on social media? It's just stupid.
I think when you really look at it back in the day, in the 80s and the 70s and whatever, when NRL was just taking off, was this such a was this such an issue? And even if it was an issue, why was it not frowned upon then? Because the players weren't not necessarily as popular, but they didn't have the following that they have now and weren't as prolific as they are now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna ask you a question. You ready?
Go ahead.
It's a bit random, but I'm genuinely interested to know. If you could disinvent something or get rid of something, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know.
I know
Officials,
it's tough, I know. Pardon?
officials from racing, officials from racing. I feel like we could have a little bit more fun then. Brussels sprouts. I don't like Brussels sprouts. I
Brussels
can't.
sprouts. Actually,
I can't.
it was years ago, but I had Brussels sprout. Oh, I would say it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I didn't mind it. I don't know if it changes from the size of them, but it was pretty small, so that might be a reason. But I didn't mind them.
See, my dad paid me 10 cents once to eat a Brussels sprout, and I did, and I can't. I haven't been able to do it since. It's one of those foods that it's just like it doesn't even look appetizing. Um, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't. I don't know I don't know what I would disinvent. To be fair, um, what would you disinvent, Josh?
Um, Honestly, I didn't even think of this because I didn't think you were gonna send it back to me. Oh, I would okay. You know what I'd get rid of?
All
Any
right, for the fourth time, what would you get rid of? Any what?
I'd get rid of vegan meat products.
Vegan meat products.
That is
Oh,
something really random, but it comes
yeah.
to my head
I
because
feel like that makes sense.
I work at a grocery store, and every time I see something like, for example, it was vegan beef jerky, and it's just like it frustrates me because it's not beef jerky if it's vegan, you know? Like,
It's obvious
just
it's vegan beef jerky. It's like it's beef jerky, for
yeah, but
vegans.
that's the thing. Like, don't put beef in it because there's no beef in it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but
It annoys me so much.
speaking of food, as much as we all love food, I saw this thing pop up in the news the other day, and obviously back to coronavirus quickly because that seems to be all that's in the news. But New Zealand eased their restrictions, and for the first time in 34 days, fast food stores opened, and KFC had people queuing for 2.2 kilometers to get their little hit of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Actually, now that you say that, I've got two jobs. So I also work at a tire store, and usually every Saturday, I don't mind getting like a burger from Hungry Jack's or I don't know, somewhere like that, just after I finish work, you know. And we went to Hungry Jack's this afternoon, and my God, like they eased the restrictions. When did they ease them?
Yesterday, Friday,
Yesterday,
1st of
and
May.
I've never seen like the surroundings so busy, and the lineup was huge. Like
Yeah, we
I
went.
couldn't believe it.
So the T intersection where KFC is, the cars were lined up back around the block towards McDonald's. Like McDonald's wasn't even full, like remotely. Like the drive through McDonald's was nearly empty, whereas KFC was just absolutely cheering. But back to the New Zealand one, they were queuing for hours apparently, and then the KFC, as you would expect, would run out of chicken eventually.
Yeah,
With that many people, and apparently there was some pretty disgusting abuse and ridicule handed out towards the workers from customers. Which I feel like is they're working their butt off. It's their first day back in over a month, and they're working really hard to give everyone the chicken. And these people come in a bit later than other people, and they don't get the chicken. I don't think it's fair to then turn around and abuse the staff. I think that's one of those things where it's just like, you have to take a step back and look at it from different perspectives.
100%. Like that's also the same as me at the grocery store. So I don't know, I'd be, like I'd be away stacking the shelves, doing the usual thing, and some person would come up and ask for, toilet paper, and I'd go, oh, I'm not sure, sorry. Like, I'm not sure when it's gonna be here. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And because I genuinely don't, no one knew because it was short Australia, well, probably worldwide, and yeah, and then they'd go off huffing and puffing, and it's like, come on, like,
Give us a
it's
break.
just, yeah,
Yeah,
like,
which well, that
being
was
ridiculous.
I can't remember the company's name, and I apologize to anyone that cares that much about a toilet paper company. But apparently, they went from working 11-hour days to working 24 hours around the clock, flat out, like for 3-4 weeks, just to try and get toilet paper back in stock for everyone. Because when you have a population of 24 million people, and every household is going out to buy a thing of toilet paper, or in most cases, every household is going out to buy 6 or 7 things of toilet paper. It can never be good, I don't feel. And then these hardworking people are then being ridiculed for not being able to put toilet paper on the shelves. And it's like, well, if you didn't hoard and you didn't overbuy things in the first place, then that wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, dead set. But I don't get why toilet paper? Like
That to me
seriously,
made no sense. That to me made no sense either.
there's
But I
so many other things out there that they could have got, like food. Like obviously, people were panic buying with food, but I just did not get the
well,
toilet paper, and it just wasn't ending. Like it just kept getting empty, 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 and it's
well
like
that's what I
like
thought.
everyone's got to have toilet paper at some stage.
Like eventually though, like when do you realize that instead of panic buying toilet paper, when are we going to start to run out of things like razors and toothpaste and mouthwash and everything like that that is actually, a bit more important than toilet paper for the most part? Um,
Yeah.
it's like I never got the whole hoarding of toilet paper. That to me was a bit like why? But yeah, question for you, Josh.
Yes, I'm
Mate,
ready.
can you do scary rides at all? Like roller
100%.
coasters or
Actually, this is a really funny story. If you know who you are out there, if you listen to this, you'll laugh straight away. So we were at the Canberra show, probably about I don't know how long ago. It was beginning of this year, and
three, 4 months ago, wasn't it?
yeah, and I'm usually really good with rides, right?
Yeah.
And we went. I just had what are those things called with the potato like all the way down the stick? You know
Um,
those like where
Chips
it's like curls
Slinkies or
around.
whatever they are.
Oh, I
Yeah,
think they
yeah.
just called it a chip on a stick actually. Anyway,
Probably,
um,
yeah. Sure.
and I just had it, and it wasn't a very good chip on the stick either. So I probably had
I
about
remember
half of it, threw it in the
I remember
bin.
we went to the V8s and you had the same problem. So I think maybe you should steer away from the chips on the stick.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, I had them heaps at Winton, and they were so good there, like for the supercars. I
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe.
Anyway, so we
We
go over to
digress.
this ride, and it goes up and down and spins at the same time.
Yep.
And I go on it, and I'm feeling like I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have got on this. Like, that was stupid. Anyway, so we did that one. I got off. That one was fine. Then I was still feeling sick, and everyone was like, come on, let's go on this ride. And I was like, you know what, fine, I'll just do it. Went on it. I went up. I don't believe it, but they think I fainted, right? Because apparently my head was flopping around.
I feel like you'd know if you fainted, but I mean, I personally, I can't sit here and say that I fainted before, but I feel like it's something that you would know happened.
Yeah. So anyway, apparently I fainted, and the bloke on the ride was apparently like shaking his head at me, like, idiot, why'd you get on? Which is probably a good thing to do.
Fair call. Yep.
Yeah. And so then probably 10 minutes passed and they wanted to go on another ride. And I was like, you're kidding me. You've just put me through this and you want me to do it again. Like, I just was shocked though. Like, I was kind of mad, to be honest, because usually I'm good at rides. And that night I was just useless. Anyway,
we went on. That's what it is.
Yep. And then we went on another ride, right? It was like 30 seconds in a ride, chilling. I was like, oh, no, I'm fine. And then another 10 seconds, I was like, no, Jesus, it's coming. It's coming. And like, it's like a 5-minute ride. So I had like probably 3 more minutes.
You had a lot of time to think about it.
I had like 3 more minutes of holding in. And I just was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do it. Ended up holding it in. Like, he was slowing down the ride, like when it was stopping. And I was like, it's about to come up. Like, I could feel it coming. Quickly hopped off. And then, I just spewed over the edge of the ride. But like that was. Then the rest of the night, I just felt so sick. Like it took ages to go. And then I finished off the night with another ride, but that wasn't too bad.
See, I can't do things. I can't do heights at all. Like heights are like my downfall. Like I can't get up there. Like, and people go skydiving. I'm like, man, how dumb
I'd love to do skydiving.
I feel like I would do it. Just because it's one of those things you all, like, even if you're scared of heights, it's something that you want to do, right? But I would only do it if I knew 1000% that I was not gonna die. Whereas there's still that chance that you could die, and to me, that's that's mud.
I do it when I'm older, like, you know,
like 80, 80 or something.
When you've completed everything in your life, and
exactly.
And if you die, like, yes, it'll be sad to everyone else, but you won't be that sad, you know.
Well, you wouldn't. So I can guarantee you probably wouldn't even feel it. It's
exactly.
It's true. One of those things that is
because apparently when you're skydiving, you're probably going to be falling a bit fast. So I don't think you'll feel it.
Well, I heard that rumor that you fall quickly when you jump out of an airplane. Whereas I've only ever sat in an airplane, and I feel like that to me just makes so much more.
That
sense.
Seems about right.
Yeah. Which is, I think.
But once again, the problem is we can't even try it because we're stuck at home.
Well, that is also true. But I think with this obviously the introduction of this new the COVID Safe app, I mean a lot of people are skeptical. That the government's just trying to access your information and whatever.
Anyone who says that frustrates me so much. Like that's actually 100%. Pathetic.
I feel like it's just one of those things that if we get and we all work together, then we'll be through this before we even know it. Like Australia has just under 7,000 cases. I think to be exact, we're at 6,700 or something like that, and I think we're only at 93 deaths. When you look at America is at 1.1 million, over 1.1 million, like well over 1.1 million, right? And we're here, and the app has already had 4 million downloads. So realistically, that's a sixth of the population of Australia.
Yeah.
If we have double that maybe, and there's probably anywhere from 6 to 10 million kids almost or 5 to 10 million kids as a number for people that are in Australia as children, probably under the age of 12, that don't have a cell phone, don't have an iPad, don't have something like that. It's just one of those things. So I think we're already at kind of all people that can download. I think we were at a solid 30, 40, 50%, which I think is fantastic. But then there's also those people that are skeptical of it. And I'm like, mate, just do it and we can get back to living our normal lives.
Yeah, no, it's it's it just annoys me. Like get a life. Like no one at this time. What are like the government? Why would they concentrate on you in the first place? But it's just stupid. Like if you
And
want to be
especially
free, like if you want to be
exactly,
able to go out and do stuff, you got to download it. So why
exactly,
you're holding us
and
back?
more to the point, our Prime Minister, Honorary Scott Morrison,
ScoMo, he's actually a legend. I love
Scoma,
him.
Scoma, he said the sooner everyone downloads the apps, the sooner we get back to the pubs. And I feel like
Exactly.
it's not the adolescents of Australia that are complaining. Once again, it's all the elderly people that aren't used to this stuff, which I think is huge, and I think it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But but yeah, no, that's. But then you look in America, you have the coronavirus is happening everywhere, right? Like everywhere. 1.1 million cases, but they admittedly they have a population of just under 400 million or just over 300 million, something like in that bracket.
Yeah.
Um, they have 1.1 million cases. Like their percentage of cases compared, like their infected to population ratio is through the roof compared to ours. Like,
Dad has a mate who's in America right now, and he was saying that like if you leave your house without like within reason, then it's a straight up $5,000 fine. This might be different now. This was a few weeks ago. And yeah, so like you're getting massive trouble over there if you leave your house,
but I feel like
which is why we should over here be looking at how lucky we are. Really, like we're
exactly,
still allowed to leave the house. We just gotta, not be with over two people or whatever it is.
exactly, exactly. But you look in America, and I don't think they are as strict as what we were on handing out fines for people to leave their house. When you have, like, you look at the protests in America, right? It's ridiculous. You have people that um are just leaving their house to go and say, why can't we be let out? Like there is
Oh,
thousands and thousands of people
that too annoys me.
lining the streets saying, why can't we be let out? Why are we in lockdown? Blah blah blah. They're protesting all of this stuff. And like it's like, dude, sit in your house for 6 more weeks, if that, which, to me is not a big deal. Like I feel like I've done really well. I mean, personally, I feel of sitting inside for 6 weeks. Like it's a pretty easy gig when you think about it.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
but they're there and they're like sweeping the streets of America with these coronavirus protests, and it's like, dude, the anti-lockdown protests. Like I've got a website here from the Guardian, and it says protest sweep Californian uh protest sweep California as governor promises changes to lockdown. Like because they've now gone and they've jumped all over the streets and they've said, this is what we want. Now the governor of California is looking at changing these lockdowns and promises that will happen when realistically it shouldn't yet, and they should still wait because obviously the number is still climbing rapidly by the day in America of a number of cases.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think America's just one of those countries.
I've got another question for you.
Here we go.
So,
Wait, just
alright,
make
this
sure that
is
if I bounce it back, you'll be able to answer it as well. Then we're all right.
yeah,
Just again, just
I'm
in
ready
case.
for this one. All right. So, speaking about leaving home when you're excited and blah blah blah, what's your
Yep.
opinion on people that don't get their license like straight away? Like,
Oh, that
when
sucks.
they're old enough and they don't get it.
Yeah, that sucks. 100%. I know a lot of like I turned 17 last month, and I know a lot of mates that have their birthday around mine were missing out. And it's just one of those things where like you plan for so long and so long and so long to get when you get your P's, you're gonna go do this, and you're gonna go to the beach because it was the holidays and everything like this. You could do this, you could do that. And then yeah, Corona came along and just absolutely kicked everyone in the face. And yeah, it sucked for a lot of people. I feel like it was just one of those things. But I think, as we've said the whole time about coronavirus, it's one of those things you have to take on the chin, keep moving with. I think everyone currently is in the same boat. Like even if you had have been able to get your license, where would have you gone with Corona anyway? So I think everything
Yeah.
kind of all adds up and makes sense and whatever. But it's just it sucked for sure. It did suck.
I'm I'm genuinely more excited to get my license more than I am to turn 18. I don't know why. I just feel like it's such a freedom, you know, like you can just go, you're free. You don't have to ask, you know, people to take you places. You can just
Yep,
go.
for sure. It's like you have that ability to then just leave and you run your own world for a little bit, and I feel like that's probably the best part about it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so it's really
It's
exciting, I suppose.
turning 18 is pretty cool as well. It's not that
Oh,
far away when you
100%.
think about it. Like just the other
Brutal.
day.
I checked I googled. I think I'm 274 days away from being 17, so I'm keen. I'm not counting or anything, but yeah.
I think like I'd be about 330, 335. I would be almost exactly away from being 18, which is scary. But
Yeah,
it'll go
wow.
fast, and then in a minute it'll be here, and then you know
Bro, I remember
HSC and
when we
everything like that.
I remember when we were back, like, I don't even know, like probably 6 years ago, you know, just when we were like 10 years old racing go-karts. And
Yeah,
like
back
this
when it all
this brings me
started.
to another question I've got, like, you know, when we came around the fires and, you know, like, you know, having fun with all our racing mates. And yeah, like what do you what's your favorite memory, like from when you've gone away racing or from camping, like whatever?
So favorite memory probably from racing was my first podium at a state title event. I feel like that was pretty. It's one of those things
Yeah.
where it's like, oh yeah, I've done that now. I'm happy. I've achieved it and whatever. And obviously you keep pushing afterwards to do better and whatever. But probably I think the whole social aspect of go karting and motorsport in general is pretty cool. But I think when we went to Dubbo in 2018, and
Oh
well, you and
yeah.
I you and I camped at the back with the fire in our swags, just by ourselves, hanging out, listening to music, like cooking whatever we were cooking on the fire and eating it. It was just like that was probably by far the best memory.
100%. So yeah, with my racing memory, my racing memory is probably winning the Coffs Harbour State Round when we
Actually, that
we
that popped
went.
up in my that popped up in my Snapchat memories the other day of
Yeah, it
you.
was actually, yeah, it was probably
Pretty
a
pretty
week
much
ago
two
now,
years
and it
ago.
was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
a week ago for the 2 year memory. So
Yep.
yeah, we went up to Coffs Harbour. I'd never seen the track, like seen the layout of the track. I'd never, you know, had any idea what it looks like. We turned up. I was within the top six for practice, all that, and within the first few races, I was in the top three, and then we were just shocked. Like the weekend could not have gone any better. It just kept getting better and better and better every race like that like took place, you know. So
Yeah.
we got to Sunday and we were starting. I was starting pole actually, and
Pole. Yeah.
I
Pole
remember it
V3.
was, yeah, and all I had to do was just try drive it home, not leave the door open, you know, and so I could, you know, get the win. And yeah, I did that. I had like a not the best start. Like a few people got up the side of me, but I managed to still hold first. And then yeah, it was pretty neck and neck battle with another guy in the final, and then yeah, I finally brought it home, and I will never ever forget that day. Just not only like you and like all my mates, but also just my dad's reaction. Like it was just like all our hard work had gone into that, and
Yeah,
it was
and
just
and paid off
so good, you
finally
know.
for sure.
And
I'll
you
never.
know that feeling 100% too,
Yeah,
you know,
hundred
when you won
percent.
that state. It may not even been around, but honestly, even just winning a race, you know, or sorry, yeah, getting on like the podium, you know. So it's just it's
I'll never
such a good
forget.
feeling.
I'll never forget that the start of that final when you were rolling up to turn two and you just put the biggest squeeze on this bloke I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then
Let's not
you
mention
just
names though, eh?
no, of course not. But then you just moved him out of the way, and then yeah. But I think because I started at a fifth or something for the final, and I was like, yes, get in. And then I just completely lost my head because I qualified fourth or something, and I was not quick at all. And I
Yeah,
qualified fourth. I was like, what the hell? And then I finished third in the first race and fourth in the second race, and I was out of fourth for the third heat. Finished like sixth or seventh or something after I got a drop down penalty. And then I was out of fifth for the final, and I just lost my head completely and finished like sixth or something, or like eighth or something, and then had a drop down, which relegated me back to further positions. But I will never forget that last lap.
And now that I think of it, wasn't qualifying was like a crisis because it was wet, wasn't it? But
Raining.
heaps of
As we went out the gate, it rained. Because I think I out qualified you, or we were really close. Like I was fifth and you were sixth, or something like that, or I was fourth.
I'm pretty sure I was behind you.
Yeah, we were alongside each other. We were alongside of each other.
Row. No, yeah, you were fifth, I was sixth, 100%. That was it. Actually, I remember looking over to the left of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
and then
that's something I'll never forget.
And then it was a good weekend. I think I ended up fifth or sixth or something on the points out of that, and then was never able to recover for the rest of the series, but that's all right.
Well, because I came second in that series by only just off by a few points, simply because some people came into the series and
just ruined it. Yeah,
kind of ruined it, So, but anyway,
well, I remember I had the start of the final for the second round at Dubbo, and I had a shit weekend, like proper bad, and I got right up to like, I think 6th or 7th from like 19th on the grid on the first lap, and then they restarted the race on me, and then I didn't make any more positions up, and I finished up like 8th or something, and I was like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
Probably had good pace if I had been in a battle pack, but it's one of those things. It's whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well,
I think that ends the first episode.
I think it does, eh? That was pretty good. How long has it been going for? Time flies, eh? When
you're having fun. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Having fun. I hope you guys had fun too. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode.
Absolutely. First installment. I think probably a few things to work on, but I think we can work on it. I think a bit of feedback probably helps, and then we'll keep going.
And also if there's a few bad bits where there's some bad audio quality, it will get better once this whole virus is ended, because we'll actually be with each other to film the podcast. But for now, it's just going to be an e-podcast. So
pretty much.
Yeah, I hope you can understand that. But yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks. See you guys. See you on the next one.
Ciao.